Welcome back. So, Rich, I got a question for you. I was talking to somebody the other day and I made the comment, I think that a luxury item in the future, in the near future, is going to be something artisanal, something bespoke, something created by a real human.
With these hands?
With these hands. And I think in the time of AI and in mass production and all this stuff, I think it's not a new thing. A lot of this is cyclical, but I think it's now moving away from just like physical goods, like handbags and clothes and stuff. And now it's moving into like content, blogs, pictures, work product. Do you think that we're going to see a higher price tag, a higher value put on things that are not AI?
I do. I think it comes from two things. I think one, the actual desire. And two might be the unfortunate other side. The people who are creating these things still need to get paid, and they still got bills to pay. And it's a volume kind of thing of what they do, right? And it's sort of the opposite of like just pricing yourself out of the work by making it too cheap. It's like, actually, no, I'm doing some good stuff. And for the people who really want something, of high craft, something unique, something put out there by somebody who's top of their game, I can see people paying more for that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I have like you and I have talked, I have a lot of makers, fabricators, product people in my circles, both professionally and privately. And I follow an artist on Instagram, and she posted last week about a series of comments and DMs that she had gotten from a viewer or customer, I guess you would call it, accusing her of her videos and her work product being AI. And she proved through pictures, like, I created this. This came out of my head. Like, there's no machines involved. Like, I drew this. And she mentions in there both it was a compliment in a way, because it was so polished, so professional, so that someone assumed it must be fake or generated instead of handcrafted, handmade. But also it was leaving her very unsteady and upset, because it's like, well, I feel like I can't win. I'm all about artisanal, handmade stuff. And even when I do that, it's being assumed that I'm not doing it, or that
Wow.
I'm faking it. And I always tell everybody, I'm not an artist, but I value craft and handmade and people who are extremely artistic in creating things. And I don't mind using AI for inspiration or even parts of the process, but I can't even imagine how, if somebody came to me and I sent them, let's say I sent them a PowerPoint deck or a book that I wrote or an article, and they just said, oh, well, this is just AI, when I know how much time and effort and brain power I put into it.
I think as well, people are actually going to be willing to pay for some things that are crafted more by AI, right? Or the blend of something that's handcrafted with a tool that allows them to change what that end product is, adds additional value. We're using a tool right now, Jim. Like, how do we get our voices out to other people unless they're actually in the room with us? Right? We're recording something, we're putting it on YouTube, we're throwing it on Spotify, all these different places. So it's fine. And the thought that came back to my mind was, the type of good, right? If it's a physical thing, like my mom crochets and she sells at craft fairs and she sells on Etsy, and she sells patterns that she makes, and she sells whole finished goods. And it's a very busy time of year for her right now. And people love these little handcrafted stuffies for kids and blankets for babies. And some, like, she has a big thing for like bears that she makes for colleges. They will do it in their colors, and people just love that. So it's cool, right? And it's something handcrafted. Take AI out of it for a minute. Photographs have long been, I think, a series of debates for people on what is the actual artist, your ability to take the right photograph. And did you do any kind of processing to it, right? Like, did you Did you put it in a computer? You bump up the colors? Was this the original, this is what it looked like photograph? What does that even mean? Because what it looked like to the camera is what it looked like to the camera. The settings, the exposure, the film, the ISO, all that stuff. What it looked like to you, your eyes perceive it differently. And maybe they put a filter on the lens to get a certain kind of effect. Maybe they just did that in post, but it's that draw, perhaps, the way that effect was applied, the craft that also went into knowing this was made better by doing just this extra little thing to it, added that value that made it just that more like in your heart impactful, that made you want to buy it. So I think, we're going to see that continue to grow, but with a different set of tools. But AI is maybe one of the few things that actually, I'm curious on your takes on this. If you let it run kind of on its own, like you use machines to create things on an autonomous way, I'll get the same product, the same bag every single time. That's good. Actually, I don't want those handcrafted. I want the precision of a machine. And when it comes to something unique, this is one of the first times that we have tools that really let us start generating something unique, like take this crazy input and just let it go wild. And there maybe is value in that too. I don't know where people will perceive that, but I think there could be value there as well.
Yeah. It may sound like I'm against AI, and I'm not. I'm not even against it in creative endeavors, because like you said, we're using it now. I use it to generate images. Ryan Brook and I are using AI as an assistant to help us write a scholarly article. It's not doing the thinking work, but it's doing the formatting and some of the research, just like a real person would normally do if we were successful enough to have like a research assistant or something. But we're going to make sure that the words, the voice, the tenor, all that is ours. So I'm not against AI. I am just wondering if it's going to be, if handmade or human made is going to be a status symbol in the future, a luxury item. And I think one of the things you're referencing is knowing what to automate, what to outsource, what to use which tool for is a skill. And as a craftsman, I think that what's called material sciences and tools are a part of every craftsman's life. Like I have a friend, and he says one of his superpowers is he's just as good, if not below average, of a creator in the discipline he's in. But he is a master of material science. Like he knows, I can make that sign in 47 different types of wood or 32 types of HDPE. And he can talk intelligently about which one is best and the properties and where's it going to go. Is it going to go indoor or outdoor? Is it going to do this? Well, how's it going to, does it need to look good 10 years from now? All those things are not the craft. It's not the actual production of things, but they are absolutely a part of what makes a craftsman or a product person a better product person. Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't have an answer. It's just something I've been thinking about lately as I do my Christmas shopping, as I read more, and as I just consume more content. And kind of the other thing is, I don't know if you feel this, but I have a fear all the time when I'm reading something or I'm watching something and I'm like, am I being duped right now? Is this real? Like I just showed you before we hit record a picture, and you rightfully asked, like, is that AI? And I go, I don't know. I don't think so, because it's pretty old. But it's that fear that people have of being duped, and is this real? Can I trust this? And I am hearing it explode in how often people say things like that to me.
You're bringing up a good point on something that was rattling around in my head, that the proof, right? Wherever it comes from, if it comes from AI, I'm okay with that. Just tell me it came from AI, right? Like this was not validated by anybody else. AI had its whole hand in the craft here. Okay, right on. Maybe it's great, right? Here's something that was created by a human. It didn't look like they were trying very hard. And it's, I don't think that just because something's human created or just because AI created means it's good or bad. I just want to know, like, what was the chain of authenticity right there, right? If you're saying I created, cool, Like, what else do you have that goes along with it? And that on its own is a status symbol.
I mean, this was one of the original use cases of blockchain. Maybe this is exactly what we're going to see, because we're already seeing watermarks come on things. We're already seeing warnings, banners, all this stuff where you're being served content or visuals, and some of the tools are getting better at identifying for you this stuff's fake or computer generated or whatever. I think that's a good thing. I'm sure that citations and in scholarly articles and in higher education and schools and all that, this is becoming much more common in a daily thing.
When you're working with people too, right? It's another, you're hiring somebody to create art. They're going to create a new piece of woodworking, for you. They're making music. They're solving a coding problem, like whatever. These are all creative endeavors. And when you're doing that, it's interesting to find out again, where does it come from? Because what if I want more of it? How do I get more of it? I want to know that. And what if I don't like it? How can I change it? Right. And I think the funny thing there is, AI, maybe more so than humans, are willing to be like, yeah, I'll just get rid of that and we'll go try something new. And when you find something that you like, oh, this is on track, but I just need this little thing changed. They're getting better, but sometimes it just goes completely off the rails. Whereas a human, at least for now, is going to be a lot better to be like, I know what you're going for here. I can ask you questions, try to get in there and find and tune that thing for you. So as well, if I knew the chain, oh, well, AI helped me with this, but then I put in my own, spin to this. I made sure the words were in my right tone. I threw out anything that I couldn't validate, whatever. It's like, oh yeah. And that's what was valuable. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what we should be looking for with people. Hi, everyone. I'm Rich Visotcky. Join Jim Sammons and I for our 12 days of holiday-themed conversations. Subscribe now and tune back in for tomorrow's episode.